right, guys. Hope everyone is well and healthy. Today we are going to do when Elijah called down fire from heaven. So it's found in 1 Kings chapter 18. We do need to jump to 1 Kings 17 for a little bit of background. So in 1 Kings 17, Elijah tells the king of Israel, Ahab, he's like, there's going to be a famine. There will be no rain or dew until I come back and tell you the famine's over. This is because you guys have turned away from the true God and worship these idols, and that's the punishment. And then Elijah runs away, right? Um, Ahab's wife, Jezebel, is notorious for killing prophets of Yahweh. So he runs away. So we come back to chapter 18, and it says it's been 3 years, and God tells Elijah, he's like, okay, it's time. The famine's going to be over. So we pause right there, and we find out that Ahab has told his servant Obadiah. He's like, hey, we need to find some new grazing areas for our horses and our donkeys. The famine's really bad. We need to find somewhere new. So Obadiah is out looking for new places, and Elijah comes up to him, and he's like, hey, I need you to tell Ahab to come meet me. And Obadiah's like, are you crazy? No way. He's like, everybody has been searching for you like forever, for 3 years, and everybody has said, I don't know where Elijah is. Elijah's not here. And so if I come back and say I know where Elijah is, the king's going to think I was lying, and he'll kill me. And Elijah's like, he'll be fine. Just go tell him. And Obadiah's like, what if I go tell him and the God just spirits you away to somewhere else? And so Elijah's kind of giving him a hard time, and Obadiah's like, no, you don't understand. It's not like I haven't been doing anything. He's like, I have hidden myself over 100 prophets of God into 2 different caves, 50 each, and I've been bringing them water and food for the last 3 years. Because see, Jezebel has set out to kill all the prophets and followers of Yahweh. So anybody who's not following her prophet will, her gods, people are trying to call me, her gods during this, she kills them. And part of it is, just as we see with the Levitical priests, so anybody who is like a priest of a god, the people are supposed to bring offerings and take care of them. Okay, so she's also getting all the supplies this way. Anyway, and so Elijah is like, Obadiah, I'll be there. Please just tell him. So Obadiah's like, okay. So Ahab and Elijah meet up, and Ahab's like, you, troubler of Israel, how dare you show your face here? You're like the enemy of the state. And Elijah's like, not me. It's you and that wicked wife of yours. Turn people away from the true God, and you're worshiping these other idols. It's your fault. He's like, here's what I need you to do. He's like, I need you to get the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah that dine at your wife's banquet table all the time, and bring them up to Mount Carmel. We're going to have a little showdown. So Ahab's like, okay. So they bring all the prophets together, and Elijah and all the people come too. And so Elijah's like, okay, this is enough. You guys need to choose. Are you going to worship the true God, or are you going to worship Baal? And the people say nothing. Right? Say nothing. So Elijah's like, I have an idea. He's like, so what we'll do is we'll make 2 sacrifices, right? So we'll get 2 bulls, and the prophets of Baal will set up their sacrifice, and then I'll set up my sacrifice, but we won't light it on fire. Whoever's God hears them and calls and rains down fire on the sacrifice and consumes it, that is the true God. And the people are like, okay, that sounds fair. That sounds like a good idea. So Elijah tells the prophets of Baal, he's like, you guys can go first. So they set up the altar, and they slaughter the bull, and they set it all up, and they start praying, right? And they've started in the morning. And it's like noontime, and nothing has happened. So Elijah starts taunting them. He's like, maybe he's busy. Maybe he's thinking. Maybe he has a lot on his mind. Maybe he went on a trip. Maybe he's out of town. And so part of this is that the Canaanite gods, the pantheon of Canaanite gods, just like Greek or Roman gods, a lot of them had human characteristics, right? And so they had human flaws. And so he's like, so he's like pointing out these flaws while they're doing it. So then they get more intense. So it says they start like dancing and they're like cutting themselves, which was common practice back then, right? To shed the blood to get the god's attention. And so they keep going. And so they go past midday, and then it comes time for the evening sacrifice. Okay, so Elijah's like, okay, time out. You guys have had all day to try this. It's my turn. So he calls all the people together, and it says he rebuilt the altar that had been torn down. So Mount Carmel is obviously a high place, and a high place is a normal place to make sacrifices. So we can assume that originally sacrifices were being made up there also to Yahweh. And so it had been torn down when the prophets of Baal and Asherah were using it. So he rebuilds this altar, and he takes 12 stones to represent the 12 tribes of Israel, and he puts it around it, and he digs a trench around the altar, and he puts the bowl on it. And then he tells the people, he's like, go get 4 jugs of water and bring it here. And he's like, pour it on the sacrifice. I'm like, what? And he has them do it 3 times. So it's drenched. And the Bible says that it's even like filling the trench and overflowing. So we're not talking about like a juglet, like jugs. So it could hold, depending on the size of the jug, but based off the archaeology of the jugs that we have found from that time, it could hold anywhere from 30 to 70 like gallons each. So it's a lot of water. So, and here's the thing that we need to think about. These people didn't have a lot of water. So either the priests were hoarding it, right? So we're taking it from the priests, and or we're taking it from the people. So like we are making a true sacrifice here. We're pouring out the water. And a liquid poured out offering is a normal offering throughout Canaan, and it's also found in the Torah to make a liquid offering. So that's fair. And then Elijah prays. He says, God, you told me to do this, so that the people will know that you're God and that I'm your servant and I've done what you asked. Consume this sacrifice. And fire falls, right? Consumes it. And it says it even licked the water in the trenches. So it's like everything is burnt up. So the people, they bow down and they're like, okay, he is God, right? This is the real God. This is the one that we're going to believe. And so and Elijah stands up and he's like, okay, if you're on the side of God, you need to kill all the prophets of Baal. And so the prophets of Baal are running, and the people are running after him to like kill him, right? And so, so the interesting thing is that Baal is the storm god. Okay, so he's in charge of rain and thunder and lightning, fire falling from heaven. And his consort Asherah, she's one of her characteristics, attributes, is that she's the fertility god. So not just in making babies, but like as in like grain and wheat and no famine and no drought. And so by doing this, it is also showing that God is over all of this, not just to be categorized by these different idols and gods. And so while that's happening, so Elijah looks at Ahab and he's like, go home and feast. He's like, and it's gonna rain, right? So Ahab gets in his chariot and he starts making his way home. And it says that Elijah's at the top of Mount Carmel and he kneels down to start praying for the rain. And he tells his servant, he's like, go look out towards the sea look for clouds, right? And so Mount Carmel's positioned perfectly. It's on part of the seacoast mountain range, and so it can overlook the Mediterranean Sea and the Jezreel Valley. And of course, so these most of the storms are going to be coming in from the Mediterranean, so he's in the perfect position to see an incoming storm. And so the servant comes back and he's like, nothing. So Elijah has him do it 7 times. And on the 7th time, he's like, there's a cloud. Looks like about the size of a man's hand, but there's something. And Elijah's like, run. It's going to rain. And so, and it says Elijah tucked his skirt up, right? So, I mean, everybody wore basically dresses then. So if you in order to have more legs, you have to like pull up the folds and tuck it in, and then that way he could run. And he runs and he books it down the mountain. And it says that he overtook Ahab, right? So Ahab's already left and he's in a chariot, so he's with a horse. And so he overtook him. There are some people who try to explain that, like maybe he took a different road, or maybe Ahab waited for him and he ran in front of him. No, I don't think so. God just gave him miraculous energy and strength and stamina, and he outran that horse all the way. So that's the story of when Elijah called down fire from heaven. Oh, just a side note. Sorry, I forgot this part. When Elijah went in front of the people, he's like, I'm the only prophet. He was exaggerating. We know that because Obadiah just told him there was 100. And then when we go to chapter 19, and Elijah has run away because he's afraid because Jezebel is now going to kill him. And he's whining to God. He's like, I'm the only one. God's like, I have 7,000 more. Okay? So it's also a good lesson right there. Whenever we're feeling like we're the only one and we're alone in whatever situation, you don't know what else God's got behind you, but you should know that God's got your back, and you're probably not the only one going through it. All right, so anyways, that's the story of Elijah and calling down fire, and I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.